The family party was in full swing. Laughter echoed through the hall, glasses clinked, and relatives mingled in clusters, sharing stories and jokes. I had arrived with a smile, ready to enjoy the evening, despite knowing that in this family, my presence often felt more tolerated than celebrated. I was midway through a conversation with a cousin when I overheard my parents talking nearby. At first, I didn't want to listen, but the words caught me like a punch to the chest. "We really wish your sister was our only child," my dad said, a casual shrug in his tone, as if this were the most natural opinion in the world. My mom laughed lightly, nodding. "Yes, she's so much easier to handle. Sometimes I wonder why we even have him." I froze. The words didn't sting immediately, they shocked me first. Then slowly, the familiar ache began to spread, the one I had felt all my life whenever my parents compared me to my sister. Years of feeling less than ignored and dismissed came rushing back. Birthdays celebrated with half-hearted attention. Achievements brushed aside in favor of my sister's accomplishments. Opinions dismissed. Dreams belittled. And here it was again, openly verbalized in front of everyone, as if it were a casual observation rather than the cruel statement it truly was. I clenched my fists under the table, my heart hammering. I could feel the blood rushing to my face. But I refused to react in the way they expected. I refused to cry, to beg, or to fight. That would have been giving them the satisfaction of control. Instead, I let the words settle for a moment, letting every syllable sink in while I maintained my composure. My mind raced. How could I respond? How could I turn this cruel statement into something that actually mattered for me? Then, slowly, an idea formed, a way to make them realize in a manner they couldn't ignore that my value wasn't measured by comparison or preference. I excused myself from the conversation with my cousin, walking calmly toward the corner of the room where the dessert table sat. Everyone was watching the party unfold, paying little attention to me, and that was perfect. I opened my phone and tapped a few keys. A photo appeared, a photo of my latest achievement. The promotion I had just received, a project I had led that had brought in a 6-figure contract for my company. I posted it to the family group chat, making sure the message was clear. Hard work pays off. Within minutes, the notifications started popping up. Cousins, aunts, uncles, they were congratulating me. Some even forwarded the message to my parents. I could see them noticing. I could see the flicker of surprise, the brief pause, the unspoken recognition that maybe, just maybe, I had value too. I didn't say a word to them. I didn't need to. Actions, as I had learned over the years, spoke far louder than words. And as the night went on, I felt a quiet satisfaction, knowing that for once, I had turned their cruel comment into a moment that reminded them, whether they liked it or not, that I was not invisible, I was not insignificant, and I was not someone to be dismissed. Tonight, I had won, not by confrontation, but by showing them what they had ignored all these years, my strength, my success, and my worth. The reactions were subtle at first, but unmistakable. My parents glanced at their phones, and I could see the tension in their expressions. Their casual dismissal of me just minutes ago had vanished. Now, there was recognition, though mixed with shock, disbelief, and maybe even a little guilt. I walked over to the bar and poured myself a glass of water, keeping my movements calm and deliberate. I didn't need to rush. They were already noticing. My mom's eyes kept flicking toward the phone. My dad's jaw tightened as he scrolled through the post. It wasn't just the promotion. I had also posted a picture of the award ceremony, the plaque I had received for leading the team, and a short caption highlighting the revenue my project had generated for the company. Numbers they couldn't argue with. Results they couldn't ignore. "You did all this?" my mom finally asked, voice tight. I nodded. "Yes, Mom. Years of effort, planning, and hard work. Things you apparently don't notice unless it's flashy enough to grab attention." My dad cleared his throat, trying to regain composure. I just didn't realize," he muttered. I smiled faintly, not mockingly, but with the quiet satisfaction of someone finally being seen for what they truly accomplished. "Exactly. You didn't realize. That's been the pattern for years, hasn't it?" They exchanged glances. There was no excuse left. The words they had spoken earlier at the party, "We wish your sister was our only child," echoed back at them in my mind. They had voiced what they truly felt without filters, without hesitation. And now they were forced to confront the person they had underestimated all along. I decided to make the lesson unforgettable, but subtle. I didn't yell. I didn't scold. I simply let the evidence speak. I showed up to the party moments later, not in confrontation, but in quiet confidence. My presence alone, paired with the ongoing chatter of relatives congratulating me on my achievements, did the work. People noticed the shift. Cousins whispered. Aunts nudged each other. Even my sister, usually the center of attention, paused mid-conversation. She glanced at me, her expression unreadable. Pride? Surprise? Slight embarrassment? I couldn't tell, but I didn't need to. I didn't need their acknowledgement to validate my feelings anymore. I walked through the room with a calm air, shaking hands, exchanging polite smiles. Every nod, every well done, every congratulatory comment reinforced the point. I wasn't invisible. I wasn't insignificant. And my parents? They sat quietly, caught between recognition and guilt, unable to reverse the truth staring them in the face. The child they had ignored, dismissed, and compared to my sister had achieved something remarkable. And nothing they said could erase that fact. By the end of the night, I had turned what could have been another hurtful family gathering into a moment of quiet triumph. Not loud, not boastful, just undeniable. My worth, my accomplishments, and my presence had finally been acknowledged, even if only silently. I left the party with my head high, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. For years, I had been measured against someone else. Tonight, the measure was mine alone, and it was more than enough. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly recognized, and it wasn't because they said it. It was because I showed them. By the end of the party, my parents were quiet, their earlier cruelty replaced by awkward acknowledgement. They couldn't say the words, but their expressions told the story. They had underestimated me for years. I didn't need their approval. I had shown them, calmly, confidently, without confrontation, that I had value, success, and strength. As I left, I felt a quiet satisfaction. Their words no longer held power over me. I had turned their cruelty into proof of my resilience. Tonight, I wasn't just present at the party. I owned my worth fully and unmistakably.